Hi, my name is Dionne Codrington. Welcome to Changemakers, the podcast. This special is a spin-off from the Black Changemakers, a CBC series that highlights folks from Quebec's Black communities who are giving back, making a difference, and inspiring others to do the same. To date, we have profiled 88 Changemakers. You can read all about our laureates' work online. Just look up CBC Quebec, Black Changemakers. But over the course of the last 3 years, I found myself wondering what really makes someone a changemaker. So in this podcast, I'm taking a deeper dive into the DNA of these leaders. I want to know what makes someone a changemaker, what's the source of their motivation, and just what it takes for everyday people to shift from self to service. Over the course of 4 episodes, I'll introduce you to some of our changemakers, all from different walks of life, and by the end of our conversation, I hope to uncover what makes them tick, who or what inspires them, and what keeps them going. But this isn't just about finding out how these folks became changemakers. It's also about understanding how anyone can claim space in the world and make a difference. When I invited these changemakers to chat with me, I asked them to choose places and spaces that were meaningful to them. Our walks took us from an old Montreal courthouse to Concordia University's campus in Montreal's West End.
Just showing them compassion. I think that's the first step, seeing them as humans first and seeing past their crime, or realizing they did do something terrible or do something bad, but seeing that they're not just that, and understanding that they're someone's son, they're someone's daughter, father, and just seeing them for the human that they are first.
In this episode, Amanda Maxwell. Amanda Maxwell was named a CBC Black Changemaker because of her tireless work at the Desta Black Community Network, where she works as the Support Services Coordinator. What that means in practice is that Amanda helps people readjust to life after prison, before and after they're released. Sometimes Amanda is the only person supporting them when they're still behind bars. But in reality, what she does is more than a job, because the people she's helping, well, they're childhood friends, neighbors, even family members. Many of them are from the neighborhood that raised her, Little Burgundy. So I wanted to understand, how did Amanda end up in this role? What's it like to do a job that hits so close to home? And what could Amanda's experience teach all of us about forging our own path? The episode you're about to hear is actually the second interview I had with Amanda. The first time was, it was not great. I invited Amanda to one of our studios, and our conversation was reserved, low energy, and a little stiff. So basically the opposite of both of us. Producer Melissa and I had a quick debrief when Amanda left. And Melissa noticed that we had a great conversation, except that it happened when we stopped rolling. So we took it on the road. We went to meet Amanda in a place that sparks joy, the Union United Church in the heart of Little Burgundy, and home to Canada's oldest Black congregation. It's where you can find Amanda every week, helping to coordinate the food bank, packing boxes, making both the staff and the clients feel welcome. Amanda was home, and full disclosure, so was I. No surprise, this conversation started how she's most comfortable, talking about someone other than herself. Yeah, talk to me a little bit about Ingrid.
I love Ingrid. Ingrid knows everybody's name, everybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, if she doesn't know their name the first time she meets them, like by the second time, she knows their full name.
Yeah.
And she welcomes them with their name. You'll see. I think that's part of, like, people don't feel shame or embarrassed to be a part of this church and come and receive services because of the vibe. Stuff like Ingrid just knowing their name, and they come and Shar comes and she dances, and that's why I really come. I don't have to be here. I really, really like it.
For the vibe.
I've been coming for the vibe. Yeah.
We're going to slow down our roll just a little bit. I know we're both fast walkers. What does this food bank mean to the community?
Oh, this food bank is, it means so much to the community. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're just like one of 2 within the area. Mm-hmm. But it's a food bank, but it's more than that. It feels like home, if you know what I mean. Everybody knows each other from a long time. And when you don't, and you're just coming to the food bank for the first couple times, you still feel like family. Yeah. And that's why I think the volunteers keep coming back.
How did you first get involved with the food bank?
Desta.
Okay.
So I think during the pandemic, a way to increase food security, we partnered with Union. And so what Desta does is they buy 25 food bags and we give it out to our families, our participants that are in need. But I just kept coming because I like to.
But this is also your neighborhood.
This is my hood.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about my hood. So, yeah.
So talk to me a little about that. I mean, you know, these are your people, this is your community, this is your family. What does it mean for you to be able to contribute in this way?
Like I told you before, I always find ways to give back to my community, but it feels good too because this is my home church as well, and my kids were christened here. This is a part of who I am, this church, so it just feels right to be able to give back.
So does everybody who does something good, does that mean they're a change maker?
No.
So what's the difference between someone who's just doing something good and being a change maker?
I mean, everyone tries to get in their one good deed a day, at least they should, right? But no, I think like it's more than just doing a good deed. I think we're struggling too, but we're still pushing past that and coming to help.
What kind of folks do you see coming out to the food bank to volunteer on a weekly basis? Who are those?
Oh, JJ. There's 2 DJs. I don't know what else he does. I think he's in marketing. It's everybody. Everybody. Once they come here for the first time and then they see the vibe, the majority of people come back. Yeah.
There's quite a few folks in the food bank from all walks of life. What do you think is the thing that unites them, that moves them all to just find that time, make the time to come out here? And
I mean, I think we're all in a position where we could be one stone throw away from receiving food from the food bank. I think like just being grateful because it's not easy out here. You know, it's not easy.
Volunteering is part of a rich legacy for Amanda. It explains why it doesn't feel like work for her. And I understood why for her, creating change feels like second nature. Members of her family have been key players at grassroots organizations like the Tyndale St. George's Community Center and Youth in Motion. They are among a handful of institutions founded by the English-speaking Black community that has called Little Burgundy home since 1887. And the groups continue to fill the gaps in social and cultural services.
So my grandmother actually, she was one of like the first women to have like a bingo night at the church, at Tyndale. So she used to make soup and serve the seniors. We used to be there as well, helping out. And then my mom, she was one of the founders of Youth in Motion, along with Kelly Thompson, Kim Kidder. So she was always giving back to the community as well. And I kind of watched both of them do that. And I was always involved. So it never felt like I'm doing community service. It just felt like this is what we do kind of thing. Yeah.
Was there any conversation around being in the community service? Was it something that was kind of, this is why we do, this is why you should?
I don't think it was a conversation per se, like a sit-down conversation. My mom always says like, oh, you're just like me, following in my footsteps kind of thing. We joke about it because my daughter now is also helping in the community and serving as, so it's just something that we do.
And what does that mean for you to see them and knowing that it's not like you need to push them out the door and say, get out and go and give back? What does that mean for you?
My son, I have to push. I'll keep it 100. I have to force him to come. But for my youngest, I just feel like this is just who she's going to be as well. She loves to help. She loves to serve. Any way she can do that. So now I kind of like keep a little barricade around her because I know people will take advantage of that because she's always so eager to help. So for me, it's just like teaching her limits and boundaries and stuff like that from now because, that's where I struggle. So yeah.
So, that we were what I was really trying to get at with these conversations is really what is at the heart of our change makers. What is it that continues to inspire you?
That's a good question. I think what inspires me is people like Ingrid and Charlene and Spence and people that I'm surrounded by that are giving effortlessly because they want to.
I think that, when you're working in community and it's often, you're not doing this for a paycheck per se. It's like, as you said, like you're inspired like to do this work, but how do you keep coming back? Because sometimes you might not see necessarily like the results or the impact of what you're doing. So how do you continue to kind of just fill your cup up, stay motivated and inspired?
The motivation and to be inspired it's like natural for me. So it doesn't feel like I'm doing something that's not serving myself. I feel like this is what's serving me. The other part would be like I have 2 jobs, so it's community doesn't pay. So I should say like the battle between the paycheck versus what I love to do, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So what do you love to do?
I love to do this, but it doesn't pay, Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you think that anybody can be a change maker?
Yeah, for sure. I think that anyone could be changed. I think it starts with just like your character and who you are.
What does that mean when you say when it starts with your character? What kind of character?
What I mean is like just like a genuine good person. It's you're a genuine person, you're a thoughtful person, compassionate. Yeah.
And I think that's often where the line gets drawn between changemakers and everyone else. Changemakers aren't necessarily more thoughtful or compassionate, but they often take creative action to solve a problem. And when they have to, they'll make a way out of no way. Some changemakers are forced to do what they can based on their own experience. And when they work from that place, that's where their power lies. We know about the work that you're doing in terms of outreach with folks who've been incarcerated. Can you tell me a little bit of the story with the former boyfriend of yours and how that kind of shaped the work that you do?
He's actually my children's father.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was incarcerated when he was a teenager and he came out as an adult. And then I knew him as a child, but he was gone for so long. And then once we got together and we had our first child, I really got to see the impact and the struggle. Like after being away in his prime, like his youth, his 20s, coming home, it was like he was like a shell almost, trying to learn everything all over again, basic things. So I never paid attention to it, but when I seen him one time, we went to the store. This is when he first came home, and like he just was having a difficult time in making choices, like basic things that we take for granted, and things like feeling like he was alone, no matter how many people were in the room with him, and never really feeling like I could help him. So now that I'm learning just ways to support them is why I feel like I do what I do.
So how do you move from that sense of hopelessness to maybe there's something that I can do to help somebody else?
I think we work as a partnership, like me, Spence, and our participants. So we work together. I don't know what you're going through per se. I'm living it vicarious through my kid's father and through my kids, but you tell me what you need, and then we'll try and work together to try and make it happen.
So what was the first step for you, where you were like, okay, this is the one thing that I could do that might help somebody else?
Just showing them compassion. I think that's the first step, seeing them as humans first and seeing past their crime, or realizing they did do something terrible or do something bad, but seeing that they're not just that, and understanding that they're someone's son, they're someone's daughter, father, and just seeing them for the human that they are first.
What do you think it is about you or how you move through the world that allows others to feel like this is something they can do, something that they want to do, something that they need to do?
Yeah, they should. I think just seeing, I think first is like educating yourself for me, because I've encountered so many people that say so much ignorant things, and it's hard to swallow. But just taking a step back and just realizing that it could have been you, it could have been your brother, your son, God forbid, but it could have been. And then just realizing that we're all human, and just try and help wherever you can.
What is it about you that you think your daughter sees and makes her want to also give back?
That's a good question. I don't know. My youngest, I think that's just who she is. I think she's always been like that. If you could look at pictures of her, she was 5 taking care of my niece. This has always been who she is. But my older daughter, I think she sees like, okay, there's actually change that needs to happen, and I see that within her school, she's fighting a lot of microaggressions, racism. And when she sees the impact of when she does speak up, I think that's what's pushing her to keep going, and for myself as well.
Amanda might not be able to qualify what it is that keeps her going or what it is that people see in her. That's something that makes giving back seem almost infectious. But it's clear to anyone who stands in her presence, even if only for a moment, that no one, no thing, and definitely no mess gets left behind. I noticed something. I don't know what the word is for it. Maybe it's OCD.
Yes.
Maybe it's just a need to give back. When you came to see me at CBC in studio, at the end of the interview, you asked me about the glasses that were left behind.
What glasses?
The drinking glasses that were left behind in the
What did
studio.
I say?
And you were like, what do we do with the glasses? And I told you that. I was like, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And you were like, no. And you took your glass, and then somebody else had left the glass behind, and you were like, I'll just take this glass with me too. And then I noticed, I was watching you as you headed out of the building, and you noticed some ottomans had been like left a little bit scattered in the lobby. And I'm like, look at this woman, like
I do have OCD
also...
though. No, it's lie. My mom always says it, and so does my dad. It's bad. It's a little OCD.
It's a little bit OCD?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this girl cannot help herself. Yeah. Like, she sees a need and she needs to do something.
What, cleaning? Yes. Like, that's my thing. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever kind of like noticed just like something about you that you cannot pass this situation? You need to jump in. You need to help. Or is that really just about? Yeah,
it's just me. The food bank. Like, I just feel like I gotta help. I gotta be here. I gotta do my part, even if it's a little bit.
I know you really struggle. With being called a change maker. I know that was. If it had been left up to you, you're not one of those people who would have nominated yourself. No. You're not one of those people if I describe you now, it's probably not going to be at the top of your list. But who is Amanda Maxwell?
I'm a mom, daughter, community worker. All sons comes with Tim Hortons. Don't look at me.
It was at this point in our conversation that the person who nominated Amanda showed up.
Can you stop?
Sven Telemack is a changemaker in his own right. And among other things, he coordinates the food bank with Amanda.
Come say hi.
My phone call to let Amanda know that she'd been named a changemaker remains one of my most memorable ones. She happened to be in a meeting with Sven's when I called her, so I asked her to put us on speakerphone. And no, before you ask, I did not record the call. But trust me, it was hilarious. I was excited. Sven's was in stitches. Amanda was confused. Okay, maybe even a little bit annoyed. And why? Because Amanda, like many of the changemakers named before her, and a long line of changemakers after her, really don't feel comfortable stepping into the light. Your friend, the one who was responsible for you even being named a changemaker,
sure.
He's the one who put you on the radar. Would that make you feel like to know that?
Oh God, it's putting the camera right on me. I'm grateful, but he knows how I feel. It's kind of like I'm still trying to get used to it.
How surprised were you that day when you got the phone call and found out that he had nominated you?
I was actually angry.
I heard that. I felt a little bit of that. Why?
I was angry because he knows I don't like to be in the spotlight. He keeps pushing me, and I'm happy that he does, but it's still like I'm fighting my anxiousness. But
why does it make you so uncomfortable?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's a little social anxiety. I don't know. I just don't like being in the front line. I'd rather just do my part in the back.
When you were talking to my producer earlier, you told her that you are more used to just being known as Shakur's mom.
Yeah, that is true. You know, but I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm so proud of my son, and a lot of people know my son. He's a popular guy. He's very outgoing. He's like his dad. He's very outgoing. Everybody knows him. He's well liked. So that's okay for me too.
Yeah.
Like before my generation, my mom's generation, I would think that they would be change makers. Someone who's this countless, what's the word? Just not giving up and just continuously pushing for what they believe in, not letting nothing hold them back, not being afraid to do things that are kind of like unconventional, and just never giving up. So like if I think about it like that, I think my mom should have been a change maker. Kelly Thompson should have been a change maker. And there's so many people that I see that are doing things for their community and others and serving just because they want to see change and want better for their community. That's what I think makes a change maker.
Wow, sounds a lot like you, Amanda Maxwell.
Okay.
Did I get an okay? Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
I think this is the part where you're like, my name is Amanda Maxwell and I am a change maker.
My name is Amanda Maxwell and I'm a CBC change maker.
Yeah, you are. Oh boy. I think this is as much as we're going to get out of Amanda.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's hard. It's hard.
A lot.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah,
It's just something baby steps.
Well,
make it happen.
Why do you think it would be important to share your story and your journey?
Because I'm sure there's somebody else that's exactly like me that doesn't want to be in the spotlight either, and is probably fighting that. And it's okay, like you said, to accept your flowers. I'm trying to be okay with it. It's like, and it's good for my kids to see too. So that's why I keep pushing myself too. Because when I do it, hopefully that my daughter, because I want her to be able to feel comfortable to accept her flowers, or my son, well, he'll be comfortable. But my daughter, so, yeah.
That was Amanda Maxwell, a support services coordinator and a 2023 CBC Black Changemaker. I'm Dionne Codrington. You've been listening to Changemakers, the podcast. The show was produced with help from Melissa Fundira. For more on Amanda Maxwell and our other CBC Black Changemakers, visit the website cbc.ca/Black ChangemakersQC. Thanks for listening.